WrestleMania 41 had almost everything, with one glaring omission that we'll go into shortly. Epic showdowns, shocking twists, and a few matches that, well, they didn't quite hit the mark. But which match stole the show, and which matches left us wondering if we were even watching the right show? Hit that subscribe button and join the Aussie Cousins Wrestling family for more top tier wrestling content as we count down every single WrestleMania match from worst to best. Now, a list like this obviously is completely subjective, so that's where you head down into the comments below and let us know what your ranking was for WrestleMania 41. Number 14, Randy Orton versus Joe Hendry. Now, this was one of my favorite moments of the weekend, but the only reason why we're putting it at number 14 was because it went for 3 minutes, but it was essentially an extended squash match just to get the moment. To see Joe Hendry walk out onto the WrestleMania stage with everyone singing his song and cheering along was absolutely brilliant, and you could see by the smile on his face, he loved every moment. Number 13, the War Raiders versus the New Day. Now, this was a fine match. Not much went wrong, except for Ivar almost breaking his neck on a Doomsault attempt, which he slipped off the top rope. But outside of that, nothing major happened in this match that could warrant its place being on the WrestleMania card. Look, we were absolutely thrilled to see the New Day on the card, but we were expecting something big to happen in this match. And when I say big, I mean Big E. But of course, that didn't happen. Essentially, the New Day won with a little bit of cheating at the end, and they regained their titles for the first time in a number of years. Number 12, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Now, this is where it might get divisive, but I have seen a lot of people now saying that this is one of the worst main events that they have ever seen in the history of WrestleMania. To me, this match was slow, it was boring. I totally understand the dynamic that was going on, that John Cena was supposed to slow the match down and do all of his big moves in a really heel fashion, but it just ended up being a boring match. And then the Travis Scott run-in was just terrible. When that music hit, everyone was expecting The Rock to come out, because when it hit at Elimination Chamber, Travis Scott came out and then immediately it transitioned into The Rock's music. That didn't happen at WrestleMania 41, and it really left a massive hole in the card. So for us, this has to go down as one of the worst matches of the entire weekend. Number 11, Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Now, we are putting this one at number 11 because A, I don't think it worked, and B, I didn't really care about this match whatsoever. Not in the build and not at any point during the match. In fact, the only time I really cared about what was happening was when Karrion Kross showed up to try and help AJ Styles, but then he just got rid of Karrion Kross like that, stepped back in the ring, had the titanium punch and the pulverizer, and the match was over. It was a bit clunky at times. I do like the story that AJ Styles was showing Logan Paul things that he'd never seen in a ring before. Then Logan Paul would learn that and do them back to AJ Styles, but I didn't care for it, and I'm not exactly that thrilled that Logan Paul is getting a WrestleMania victory over someone as legendary as AJ Styles. Number 10, Jey Uso versus Gunther. Another one that might be divisive putting it at this point in the list. This match was okay, it was fine. There was nothing overly that wrong with the match in terms of them not messing up any of the moves or anything like that. Gunther, I think, was portrayed as a bit of a chicken shit heel, which I really didn't like at all. I know the whole story is, all of a sudden Jey Uso is now kind of super Jey Uso, and what he's throwing at Gunther is something that Gunther hasn't seen before. But to me, this just didn't really work. I love the fact that Jey Uso has gotten over and he's getting this WrestleMania moment. If this had been like a 20-minute epic back and forth where Jey Uso gets on top valiantly at the end and finally gets to Gunther, this would have been an incredible WrestleMania moment. But to me, it just seemed like it was a bit rushed. The ending, I know it was a callback to the Ilya Dragunov match for Gunther, but it just seemed like he looked weak by the end of it. Number 9, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Again, this match was really good for what it was. They did everything to perfection. It was a pretty basic match going on second last on the card. I love the fact that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were able to get on top early using a bit of their cheating tactics. Liv Morgan running around the ring, sliding in, While Becky Lynch was chasing her, Becky gone straight into the Raquel Rodriguez boot was lovely stuff. But of course this match was mainly set up so that Becky Lynch could have her big return and be on WrestleMania with her protege Lyra Valkyria. And of course now we've seen what happened on the Raw after WrestleMania, and to be fair, that match was way better than this one. Number 8, El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. Again, this match could be very well divisive, because mainly of the finish, really. Obviously, it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio in this spot that El Grande Americano was going to go over, and they had to sub in Rey Fenix at the end because of Rey Mysterio's injury. The two of them had fantastic chemistry in the ring, and for the actual wrestling, it was really solid stuff. That backwards 450 senton splash or whatever it was from El Grande Americano was something I'd never seen before in a ring, and looked devastating as he pretty much landed dead on Rey Fenix. But where it's kind of been brought down for us is the fact that Rey Fenix, in just his third singles match in the roster, has unfortunately had a big loss at WrestleMania. It's great that he's had his WrestleMania moment, but when you're announcing a partnership with AAA at this point in time, and then Rey Fenix is the one that loses to a gimmick like El Grande Americano, it's never gonna be one of the best moments of the weekend. And speaking of best moments, I think it would be a best moment for your week if you guys click on that subscribe button to Aussie Cousins Wrestling, so you get plenty of this top tier wrestling content. And make sure you like that video so this video gets sent out to more and more people. And now we'll get back into it. Number 7, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. To me, this match was really entertaining, but not always for the right reasons. It seemed like there were a few chemistry issues between the two of them. Maybe that's understandable considering the build that they've had the whole entire time. Whenever something went wrong though, it just seemed like they went, oh well, let's just beat each other up. Which it just looked like it was a fight, a bit of a brawl for most of the time, which to be fair is exactly how I would have wanted it. I'm not entirely sure if Charlotte Flair was perhaps had a lot of ring rust, considering she had been out of the ring for so long, and I think this is only her second actual match back. And Tiffany Stratton in her first performance on the grandest stage of them all, while defending a championship, that is so much pressure, and I genuinely think she had a really good night. Number 6, Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Another one that started off really well with a fantastic brawl between the two of them. Jade Cargill got to show off all of her power moves on Naomi, who then started to add more weapons to her heel arsenal as she was getting Jade on the outside, doing different things that we haven't seen Naomi do before. The build to this match, in our opinion, was the best one of the entire WrestleMania 41 build. And this match was as good as it could have been between the two of them. Those two fantastic catches by Jade Cargill of Naomi from the top rope were outstanding. The finish with the electric chair position into the powerbomb, followed by the Jaded, was a lovely way to finish this match. Number 5, Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. Jacob Fatu winning the US Heavyweight Championship on the grandest stage of them all was a fantastic moment of the weekend. The crowd really got behind him, despite the fact LA Knight was still popular with that Las Vegas crowd as well. The moonsault into the BFT was just lovely stuff, and it had such a small margin for error, it really could have gone wrong. But then with Jacob Fatu getting him up for the Samoan drop off the ropes, followed by two of his absolutely wonderful moonsaults to finish it off, the crowd popped huge, and I genuinely think this is one of my favorite matches of the weekend. Number 4, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Drew McIntyre was out there to show the world why he is one of the absolute best in this business. Drew McIntyre's performance throughout this build was outstanding. He was able to make sense of what people thought was a nonsensical build to start off with. And of course, we have to talk about partway through the match, he gets down on the floor, goes to his brother, gets his phone, does the selfie, tweeting along with "still bored at work, lol." And that has had hundreds of thousands of likes and retweets and whatever else on X. That was just such fantastic work by Drew McIntyre. And then the finish with Damian Priest going for old school, but Drew McIntyre pushing him off into 2 tables that had been set up earlier, then getting him back in the ring, putting his head against a chair set up between the turnbuckles, claymoring him into the chair. That was an incredible way to finish such a fun match where the two of them beat the crap out of each other. Number 3, Dominic Mysterio versus Bron Breakker versus Penta versus Finn Balor. What a wonderful 4-way match this was. All the moving parts between the 4 of them, I think it really showcased every one of them as being worthy of a match such as this. Penta had a fantastic night on his first trip to WrestleMania. That dive over the top rope early on just looked majestic. And then we need to talk about the Carlito spot. Him, of course, pulling Penta out of the ring to break up a pinfall, trying to put him through a table, only to see Bron Breakker there, who spears him through the table. Absolutely lovely stuff. And I came so close to predicting the finish in our Wrestling Predictions League, where Dominic Mysterio came off the top rope with a frog splash to break up a pinning attempt between Finn Balor on Bron Breakker, and then he pins Finn Balor for the win. That was just so much fun. What an incredible ovation for Dominic Mysterio to get the IC title, so much so that as he's walking up the ramp, he sprints back into the ring to soak up the adulation of the crowd once again. If that was something he has done just off the cuff, it was perfect. Number 2, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. This one started off really well with a little bit of a brawl into the crowd before Roman Reigns just came jumping over the barricade into Seth Rollins and CM Punk. How he didn't take out several people of the crowd with him, I have no idea. But for a little while there, I thought it was going to get bogged down in a lot of slow, the usual tribal chief kind of stuff that he used to do in his matches, but it started to pick up pace towards the end. Obviously, there was a lot of finisher spam, but it was always going to happen in the main event of night 1 when you have 3 wrestlers of this incredible standing in the business. And then it happened. So Paul Heyman is going to look like he is helping out CM Punk, giving him the chair to whack Roman Reigns with it before he low blows CM Punk, gives the chair to Roman Reigns. He takes out CM Punk and then tells him, you go after Seth Rollins, he is in the Shield position, before he low blows Roman Reigns, and it is Seth Rollins who becomes the Paul Heyman guy going forward. What an incredible twist, and it is something that we thought was probably going to happen, but that doesn't mean it was any less impactful. And of course, now we have seen what has happened on the Raw after WrestleMania as well, with Bron Breakker joining the group. The long-term storytelling in that goes back to mid-2023 with Paul Heyman tapping up Bron Breakker in NXT. This was so much fun and a fantastic triple threat match, but it wasn't even the best triple threat match at WrestleMania 41. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Could it be any other match other than this? This was outstanding and one of the best WrestleMania openers of all time. Some people are saying it is right up there with Owen Hart versus Bret Hart. That is how good this match was. The story going into this match, of course, is that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair were just forgetting about Io Sky in this build. They were giving her the pie face at every opportunity. To start this match though, Io blocked it and managed to get the first punch in on Rhea Ripley. It had a blistering pace from the start and was out of this world. Io Sky was moving all over the place, bumping her ass off for the other two while they were showing all their power moves. Io Sky countering just about everything was so much fun to watch. You have the moment of Io Sky doing her taunt with the crowd just loving it, followed by Bianca Belair coming out of nowhere to spear her out of her boots, then the 450 splash just broken up for the near fall by Rhea Ripley. You then have Io Sky countering the Riptide twice before going for the over the moonsault onto Rhea Ripley, who gets her legs up, Io Sky bounces straight into a KOD by Bianca Belair. Rhea Ripley gets her at the very last second for another fantastic near fall. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are slugging it out on the top rope before Rhea headbutts Bianca off the ropes. Io Sky comes in and looks for the poison Rana on Rhea Ripley, who blocks it and almost reverse Alabama slams her into the ring post. Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley then slug it out in the ring before Bianca managed to get on top, whip Rhea with her braid, which made a fantastic sound, gets her up for the KOD, and of course, who've they forgotten about? It's Io Sky, who prepares for the over the moonsault on the pile, breaks up the pinfall, then pins Bianca Belair. 1, 2, 3. Io Sky retains the championship. What an incredible match. I absolutely love this match. And here at Aussie Cousins Wrestling, we do a wrestling predictions league between the two of us, with Mikey Spence going into WrestleMania Night 2, 34-29 up on me. I managed to get 4 picks on Night 2 by getting Dominic Mysterio, John Cena, and Drew McIntyre correct, as well as almost nailing the finish to the Dominic Mysterio IC title win. I came so close to getting that right, so I get 1 point instead of the usual 2. Mikey gets 3 points right for the night, as he got Dominic Mysterio, John Cena, and Io Sky correct in his picks. So after WrestleMania, Mikey is up 37-33 overall. If you want to be a part of our Wrestling Predictions League, we are hoping to expand it to so many more people. Click on that subscribe button, and once we are able to open up memberships, we'll open up this Wrestling Predictions League to anyone who wants to join in. So tell us what you thought of WrestleMania 41 and give us your ranking of these matches. What was the worst and what was the best? Like the video, and the most important thing from us, of course, is we hope that you all have a wonderful day.